Hey friends, welcome to the Empowered Homes podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to grow strong families by connecting church and home. And we also want parents to win in the home. And so I'm excited about today's conversation because we're going to talk about that and Christmas. And I am in the studio with my friend, my pal, and co-host, Bobby.
Hey friends.
All right. And we are also joined in studio by my friend, Hannah Bush. I am so excited to have you here. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah. And like I said, today we are talking about Christmas and Advent because that season is here. And Hannah is joining us because she has an incredible resource that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But Hannah, will you start by just introducing yourself, talk about your ministry experience, and then the mission that the Lord has laid on your heart and what you're doing these days?
So I am on a new adventure, a new calling. I have been in ministry for about 15 years, mostly in preteen ministry, but also have helped with kids ministry, preschool, special needs, family ministry. And so God has really just shaped this multiple years of experience and guided me into this new calling of supporting the church and families outside of an individual church. And so he placed on my heart this calling to start Preteen Journey, which is my new ministry business. And it's all about supporting and teaming up with families, with preteens, with ministry leaders to help in their discipleship and growth. So I've got an exciting first resource that I have written, and it's hopefully going to be helpful to guide families through the holiday season and preparing their hearts the right way, and also preteens if they want to do it on their own. So
it's so awesome. And Hannah, one of the beautiful things that we do with Empowered Homes is we're always looking for people who are like-hearted, and we're so grateful for your ministry and wanting to get resources in the hands of parents so they can win at home, Meg. Before we jump into this incredible resource for Advent, we're talking Christmas. I feel like it should be snowing outside. It just all the Christmas feels right now.
Yeah.
So just before we jump in, some fun questions for Christmas that are really, really important for the Christmas season.
Right.
And the first one is, when can you start playing Christmas music? Like, when does that start?
in July, Christmas in July.
July.
Goodness.
I'm just kidding. I actually grew up in a household where we prepared all fall for Christmas because we were up at a church where we did all the production. So Christmas started really early in my house growing up. We're talking like before Thanksgiving, so I'm just used to that. Now, my husband, he says not before Thanksgiving. So
Nice.
kind of had to find a good balance in our house of when's too soon to start the Christmas carols.
And I feel like that should be a part of premarital counseling.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is like, what is your stance on these things for
When
Christmas
does
and
your tree go
holidays?
up?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to add that to my
exactly.
premarital counseling routine. Okay, so the debate of pre or post Thanksgiving. Your husband is post. Are you pre?
It's just kind of flexible, If I'm by myself and I'm ready for the Christmas spirit, then I turn it on. But I try to be courteous of everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will skip a Christmas song before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like they'll pop up on my
You're not
Spotify
ready.
sometimes. I'm like, nope.
It's not time.
Like Go Tell It on the Mountain came up the other day. I was like, nope,
Can't do it.
can't do it.
No, we're not there yet.
No.
Okay, another equally as important question. Again, add this one to marriage counseling.
Yes.
When can you start decorating for Christmas?
Yeah. That's a great question, too. I have actually done it in parts lately because I want my heart to be prepared on the right things, and I don't want it to be something that's overwhelming. So
good.
I actually put my tree up without like the ornaments, but just like a tree with lights for Thanksgiving, and then it's ready to like decorate and put the other things up after.
Okay.
And that way my December is focused on right things.
That's good wisdom.
That's what works for my family.
Meg, when it's too soon?
Well, when is too soon or when do I do it?
When do you do it and when is
Well, I typically do it after Thanksgiving just because we have a little bit more time during that Thanksgiving break. And so it's typically after Thanksgiving. I mean, am I going to ridicule someone who does it before Thanksgiving? No.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, at Halloween this year, there's a house with all the goblins and ghouls, and then 2 houses down, they already have Christmas lights out.
Wow.
I kind of like it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know.
That's like
is that too soon?
Battle of the street.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, rapid fire. We got 3 more. Don't think, just answer.
Okay.
Real tree or fake tree?
Fake tree.
Fake tree.
Fake tree.
See, I want elaboration, but I said no. All right. Mail Christmas cards or send a digital card?
Digital.
Okay. Last one. You can answer this one. This is more than a yes or no. How do you open your Christmas presents? All at once or one at a time? Do you
One
have
at a
system? Okay. Do you? What's your system?
It's different at every house. My own home, we have the tradition of doing like our immediate gifts first thing in the morning, like all the small ones. And then we have a 3-gift, kind of like Jesus got. So we do a gold, frankincense, and myrrh. One represents something for your spiritual growth, something that is for your body, like shoes or hat or something to wear. And then one's your gold gift. And that's something extra special. So each of my kids get 3 gifts.
That's really
That's how we do it. We watch each other open them because that's part of gift giving too, is the joy of seeing someone else open what you got for them.
Yes.
So good. Meg,
I love that.
What's y'all's system?
My family growing up, and still, it's one at a time. And at my grandma's house, it took hours.
Yeah.
Hours. Right. Yeah. But it's good to watch.
Yeah, we do one at a time, and we say several times. Our kids are getting older, but when they were real little, it was their, brothers opening and sisters like, oh man, and they're like, they got that, and I just got this, and so the phrase that we say often around Christmas is, aren't you so happy for your brother, or aren't you so happy for your sister? And they're like, yeah,
Oh man.
but they got something really cool. But we try to even it out and keep it all. But so Christmas is here, it's upon us, and we want to talk about your resource with Advent. And Meg, I know we do a lot with Empowered Homes with Advent, and we think it's a big deal, and it's super important. But let's jump into this and talk about your resource and Advent.
Yeah, and I think specifically, starting with what is Advent, because we just talked about some fun things for Christmas, and there are traditions and different things, but specifically, what is Advent, and why is it so important for our families to understand what it is and to really prepare with Advent, using resources for Advent?
Yeah. I know for some families, even the word Advent might be a little different. I know it's talked about more in some religious backgrounds than others. And really, Advent is just celebrating the arrival of Christ's birth. And it does tend to tie in with symbolism and some traditions with like candles and colors and things like that. But I like to see Advent really as what's the sacred tradition part of this holiday season, and how am I preparing my heart to focus on those things and not all of the distraction of cultural and society things. And all those things are good and they make holidays fun, but is my heart really prepared? Am I teaching my kids how to prepare their hearts for the true meaning of what we're celebrating? And so it's been a really fun tradition to add into our own family as I've become a mom and having my own kids and getting to practice that rhythm and habit every season with them as well.
Yeah. I love that. Advent is preparing our hearts for Christmas Day, and there's a tension that we feel with Christmas. I love Christmas traditions. I love all the movies. It's just such a special time for family. There's nothing, inherently wrong with all of those, but this is a little different habit that we're adding to our season routines. And so just kind of share with us a little bit about, the difference between creating these holiness habits of really making the season about who it's supposed to be about versus the commercial or cultural side. Like what's the kind of parallel of that, and how we I know families that will die on their Christmas habits, and that it's not very holy. It's not very focused on Jesus. How do we help families understand the difference, and then also like prioritize those holy habits just as much as the cultural ones?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that I've learned a lot as a mom, not just with my ministry experience. And so it's been really neat to problem solve that on my own as well with the hat and lens of ministry. And some things that have helped me with that is, one, just doing something is better than nothing. And so starting somewhere with really wherever my spiritual maturity level is at, or whatever my comfort level is at, like doing something intentional with my kids that points them to Christ during the holiday season. And there's so many good resources, which I'm excited to talk about some of those in a minute. But the other thing is integrating it into some of those normal traditions that we do. Like when you make Christmas cookies, maybe you're also making enough to take around to your neighbors, and you're making neighbor treats is what we call them. And so you're now inviting them into the holiness of the season through what you attach to your bag of cookies that then is sharing Christ's love with others, and you're doing that with your family. So you're creatively making these connections to what those cultural traditions might be, but you're integrating a holiness about it with that sacred holiday tradition of Advent. And I also think that making any habit, you have to remove barriers. You have to remove things that are going to get in your way. When I try to exercise, I have to put my shoes out and my clothes out and, do everything to remove the excuse of pushing snooze and not getting up and doing my workout. And the same thing is true of our holiday season. What can we remove, or what can we prepare for so that we are successful in actually achieving what we're trying to do with our families? And I answered a fake Christmas tree, and I answered digital cards. We used to do real cards. I realized how much time it took away from the things that I really wanted to be doing with my family, and what was really important to me with some of our Advent holiday traditions. And you can't keep piling on all of them without removing some and making room for them. And so some of it's just making some choices too of what's most important, and making time for those things.
Yeah, I like that you highlight the intentionality, and sort of at the beginning of the season, sitting down and I mean, what you're saying is like, we're going to look at the season right now, and we're going to start to plan, and because we know there's so many fun things to do, and we're not saying don't do those traditions and don't, be a part of celebrations and all of those things, but sometimes you have to make some hard choices as to what you're going to participate in. And I found too with our family, like trying to do the things that we can do as a family together, and so it's like kind of keeping that intact is like not being pulled in a bunch of different directions has been important for our family. Like, and that's actually all year round. I've realized like, the more we can actually just do things together and be together and celebrate.
Yeah,
it's so important. Yeah.
With that, like I love that you use the working out illustration, because with any habit or anything, especially as we prepare for Advent, like it's great for us to have a plan or have good intentions, but there has to be something tangible where, yes, we put the plan out, we want to do this, we want to execute, but there has to be something tangible on the front end to make that commitment of like, hey, we're going to follow through. It's just like the gym. Like I can have a workout plan and I know what I'm supposed to do on every day, but my first step in that is just showing up to the gym. Like I just got to get to the gym. And there's so many things competing for not wanting to go, and I've got this thing or got this, but all I got to do is get there because I know the plan. And so helping families have the plan, and then just encouraging them to just show up and just continue to go. That's such a good illustration for, especially not just this season, but any habit that we want to do with our families.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think too, sitting down, planning the habits and thinking through, we talked about this too, of these are not just, okay, we're going to have these habits for the next 30 days or, whatever time frame we kind of deem this holiday season. It's more about looking out into the future and going, okay, not only do we want these habits during the holidays, but we want them to extend beyond that throughout the year, but then also thinking about how does it impact future generations? Many of us, myself, like we didn't, not that we didn't have traditions, but that kind of holiness piece and that really focusing on Jesus being the reason for the season wasn't modeled super well. And so, what does that mean for us as parents to maybe be the first ones to sort of go, okay, we're going to do this for our family, and how does that impact future generations?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've been thinking about, of all the traditions that we do in my home, which one do I really want my kids to want to do with their own kids someday? And I hope they pick Advent. Like, yes, Christmas cookies are great. Christmas caroling parties are great. None of the things that we do, I'm upset about or would be unhappy with them continuing on. But the one I really hope that they continue doing when they're parenting their own family someday is the tradition of Advent in their home. And I wrote this Advent guide with all these things in mind and really tried to put on my parent hat even and think of all of the excuses or barriers that could be a reason why someone doesn't, and then also think of when are they able to do this in a normal family everyday schedule. And so that's what I think I'm actually probably most excited about is just the different avenues and different ways that they can say yes to doing something that's sacred and holy during the season.
Yeah, and I think of, like with Meg, like we didn't have a whole lot of holy traditions through the season. It was very cultural, but I still remember those things with my granny that we would do. I still remember, and so those remember forevers that we want to instill with our kids, how do we leverage this season that is holy, it is special, it is focused on Jesus, that we kind of give them the cultural things, but man, let's give them Jesus during the season so that they, for generations, we say all the time with Empowered Homes, like we'll know we're successful when our grandkids and great-grandkids are sharing Jesus and living for Jesus. And so you have created an incredible resource to help us. We talked about the importance of the season. We talked about, creating these holy habits. Now let's dive into your resource. I know I hear your heart behind this, but just practically with this, what is it and why do families need to be using this?
Yeah. So this guide is actually created to start at Thanksgiving. It's interesting that you led with some of those when's too soon to start preparing for Christmas, but I did that for a reason because in all honesty, you even mentioned Christmas starts right after Thanksgiving. Like you start setting up. So even if you do wait till that being your milestone, we all know that once we eat our turkey and we kind of move on from a few football games, it's go time for Christmas season. And I intentionally wanted there to be a habit that was started before they got into those maybe new rhythms of holiday traditions and things like that. Like, let's make this your first one that you start making. And so it actually starts with the week of Thanksgiving and has a non-traditional start to normal Advents where they usually start the first Sunday of December. Yeah. This one starts on Thanksgiving with the theme of provision. And I love that because, like, what better to do than to remind us of who it all starts with anyway. And going back to even just the story of the Israelites and them needing to trust in faith of a promised Messiah that is coming and how that just leads straight into the 4 traditional weeks of the season. It also has a bonus week then for Christmas Day. So I know presents and the party and all of the celebrating happens on Christmas, but if we've been preparing our heart right, it really starts with celebrating our Savior first. And so what better way to do that than with your own devotional on Christmas Day at some point in your day. And then it leads you all the way through the new year. So really wanted to just encompass all of the holidays. And like you said, Megan, getting your family maybe in a new rhythm so that by the time you've gone from Thanksgiving to the new year, why stop there? Yeah. Like pick up the next family devotional, all of the resources on Empowered Homes, I'm sure will have really good tools and ways that you can keep that conversation going. So that's one of the things.
It's so good. And there's different ways that, someone listening, a parent going, oh, okay, I got to get on this. How do they, like, what are the different formats of the resource for them to access?
Yes. So I tried to keep all different kinds of learning styles and teaching styles and comfortability in mind. So there are options for you to use the PDF version. You can print it out if you're one who likes just a tangible copy, or you like to make your own notes as you lead your family through something. It comes with some map it out sheets, which help you get involved in engaging in actively living out what you all talked about as a family. So those are also fun. There's audio options on there. So you should be able to click on the audio links and actually listen to it, because my family sometimes has done Advent in the car because you're visiting families, you're going to look at Christmas lights, you're heading up to church more than usual for choir rehearsals or kid involvement or all kinds of things. And so utilizing your car time is an amazing way. I wouldn't say it's as sacred as those Sunday evenings where we get to light our candles around our Christmas tree and turn all the lights out and play a worship song. But those moments are good too. But like I said earlier, it's better to do something than nothing at all. And I know my kids are still getting it, and they're still receiving what the Lord has for them, even if we're in the car. And sometimes those moments might be more impactful because they're buckled in, sitting still and in a seat, and their mind is focused more on what they're listening to. So I tried to create that as well. I'm probably most excited about the digital platform that I'm also creating that'll go alongside it. It's going to be pretty cool how the parent can use it on their phone, and it'll walk through guides. It'll give you a certificate at the end just so you can kind of like earn your weeks. It'll be a little more interactive. And the preteen track, you can click on that if you're a preteen doing it by yourself. And that way, if your family isn't into something like that as a preteen, but you want to continue growing and discipling your own faith, they can still follow through and prepare their own heart. And it'll walk them through all of the different features on a digital platform. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out.
Yeah, and you talked about the barriers, removing those barriers. You've created a great resource where you've thought through like what's going to hinder families from being able to do it. And it's so intentional. And just thank you for just your work in this. And we're excited to share this with our families, share this with our listeners. It's such a, I always say, like, Christmas seasons, it softens hearts. It's such a impactful time for everybody. And so as a family, like, not just letting that go silent, but ramping up that soft heart and really pouring Jesus into our kids. This is a great resource for families to be able to add those holy habits. So thank you for your work and just really excited to, we always say we want parents to win at home. We want to get stuff in your hands to win. This is a huge win. So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so thankful that you're willing to share it with us. I mean, that was the thing, is you finished it and you texted me or emailed me and said, hey, I have this resource. I want to share it. Yeah. And so I know that going forward, you're going to have so many incredible resources for families. And so the fact that we get to partner and that you're willing to share it with us, it makes us so happy because we love sharing resources.
Yeah, thank you. I am excited about the future of Preteen Journey. God's already given me many more resources, like Megan said, to hopefully help disciple parents and preteens together on that journey, and all the way from weekend getaways and intentional conversations to parenting experiences that really deal with the feelings and the things and the habits that they are bringing into parenting, and then also helping them create new habits for how they're parenting their own kids. So it's going to be an exciting journey ahead. I'm grateful for y'all's partnership and support.
Yeah. So before we close, parents listening, listeners, grandparents, whoever's listening, I want more information about Hannah. How do we contact you? How do we get a hold of all the content that you're have created and will create.
Absolutely. PreteenJourney.org is where you find us, and all my contact information is on there. Would love to be in relationship with you. So just please reach out and let's get to know each other. I love to not just write things that I think are important, but that really meet a need. And so if there's a need out there that you have and I can help with it, that's what I'm here to do, is to team up with parents and partner with ministries. So,
well, Hannah, thank you so much for just your work and this resource. I'm super excited. And so for the listeners out there and you guys, Merry Christmas. It's exciting.
So exciting.
To prepare our hearts, using Advent to prepare our hearts for Christmas Day and celebrate our Savior who was born. It's just an incredible season, and I'm super excited. So Merry Christmas. Those of you listening, if you want more information about Advent, any resource, we have a ton of great stuff on empoweredhomes.org.